Hydrosphere. Hydrosphere contains all the water on the surface of the earth or on the surface. Oceans, lakes, rivers, swamps, ice caps, clouds, groundwater. Distribution of water bodies. The earth is popularly called blue planet or watery planet because about 71% of the total area of the earth or 361 million square kilometers is covered by water. The major water bodies of the world are the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. Ocean. Oceans are deep and large expanse of water found between the continents. The Indian Ocean between Asia, Africa, and Australia, the Atlantic Ocean between North America and Europe, and so on. Gulf is a part of an ocean or sea that penetrated into the land. It is smaller than a sea. The size, shape, and depth of a gulf varies from one to another. Example, the Gulf of Mannar. Sea. A sea is a part of the ocean extended or projected far inland. Seas are smaller compared to oceans. Example, the Arabian Sea. Bay. Bays are small semicircular water bodies partially surrounded by land. The depth, extent, and size of bays vary from one to another. Example, the Bay of Bengal. Strait. A strait is a narrow strip of water body joining two large water bodies. Example, Palk Strait. Isthmus. Isthmus is a narrow stretch of landmass joining two large landmasses. Oceans. Ocean is the vast body of salt water that covers almost three-fourths of the Earth's surface. They are deeper than all the other water bodies. The oceans are a continuous water body. There is no particular dividing line between these oceans. There are four oceans: Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and Indian Ocean. Pacific Ocean. It is the largest ocean and average depth of 4,280 meters. The Pacific Ocean is located on the east of Asia and Australia and on the west of the American continents. The depth is 11,033 meter. Challenger Deep near the Philippines. The North Pacific flows from the top right of the equator. The South Pacific flows from the bottom left of the equator. The Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is the third largest ocean. The average depth is 3,890 meters. The Indian Ocean stretches between Asia, Africa, and Australia. Atlantic Ocean. It is the second largest ocean. It flows clockwise and counterclockwise, same as the Pacific. It is divided into two parts, the North and the South. The Atlantic Ocean is located on the east of USA and on the west, and Europe and Africa. Physical features. Each area of the seabed has typical features such as common soil composition, typical topography, salinity of water layers above it, marine life, magnetic direction of rocks, and sedimentation. Seabed topography is flat where sedimentation is heavy and covers the tectonic features. Sediments come from various sources: land erosion sediments brought mainly by rivers, underwater volcanic ash spreading, especially from hydrothermal vents, microorganism activity, sea currents eroding the seabed itself, marine life, corals, fish, algae, crabs, marine plants, and other biological created sediments. Relief of the ocean floor. On the basis of the characteristics features, the ocean floor is divided into four major parts. They are the continental shelf, the continental slope, the deep sea plain, the ocean deeps. Continental shelf. This is the shallow area along the sea coast. This part is bordered by the sea coast on one side and the continental slope on the other side. The average depth of the continental shelf is 100 fathoms. The depth of the sea in this region gradually increases towards the continental slope. The continental shelf is very important for fishing, aquaculture, navigation, and extraction of minerals. Continental slope. This is the second part of the ocean floor and it is very steep. It is a link between the continental shelf and the deep sea plain. Submarine canyons are a special feature in this region. The deep sea plain. This is the vast plain found at the bottom of the seafloor. The deep sea plain is also known as abyssal plain and it covers the largest area of the ocean floor. In this region, sea mounts and guyards are found. The ocean deep. The ocean deeps are also called ocean trenches. These are the deepest part of the ocean floor. Example, the Challenger Deep of Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean near Philippine Islands is around 11,033 meters deep and is the deepest point of the oceans. The other trenches are Tonga Trench, Coral Trench, and Pacific Ocean. Temperature of ocean water. Temperature. According to the latitudes and the depth of the ocean floor, the temperature of the ocean water near the equator is more than that of the temperature near the Arctic and the Antarctic circles. With the increasing depth, the temperature of the ocean water decreases. It is because the sunlight can penetrate into the ocean only up to a depth of 200 meters. Within this depth, various marine organisms are found in large numbers. Salinity of ocean water. Salinity is the percentage of salts dissolved in the sea or ocean water. The average salinity of the ocean water is 35 ppt. The salinity of ocean water is very high near the tropics and it is very low near the poles. At the equatorial region, the salinity is average due to high evaporation and precipitation. Ocean currents. The ocean water has three types of movements. They are waves, currents, and tides. The waves are usually caused by wind. Ocean currents are the regular movement of ocean water from one region to another. They are called tidal delays because the sea or ocean water level is constantly and steadily rising and falling. Ocean currents. Ocean currents are of two types. Warm currents. These currents originate and flow from the equatorial region to subpolar regions. Cold currents. These currents originate in the polar regions and flow towards the equatorial region. Tides. Tides are the periodic rise and fall in the sea or ocean level. They occur due to the gravitational attraction by the moon, gravitational force by the sun, rotation of the earth, and centrifugal force of the earth. Types of tides. Tides are of two types: high tide, also known as flood tide, low tide, also known as ebb tide. On the water bodies of the earth, there are alternate high tides and low tides. Between one high tide and a low tide, the time is 6 hours 13 minutes. Between one high tide and another, the time gap is 12 hours 26 minutes. In 24 hours 52 minutes, there are two high tides and two low tides. Tides on the basis of the position of the moon and the sun. There are two types of tides on the basis of the position of the moon and the sun. Spring tide. Spring tides take place when the earth, the moon, and the sun are in the same straight line. Example, new moon and full moon. When the spring tides take place, high tides are the highest and the low tides are the lowest. Neap tide. Neap tide occurs on the first quarter and the last quarter days in the phase of the moon. During neap tides, the sun and the earth are in the same straight line and moon is in right angle to the earth. In this type of tides, the high tides are not very high and low tides are not very low. Uses. Tides are directly and indirectly useful to mankind in following ways. Tides help navigation for big ships during high tides. Tides prevent some extent the freezing sea or ocean water in the coast. Tides help to keep the harbors clean. They help fishing. They also help to generate tidal energy. Conservation of oceans. The following are the important methods of conservation of oceans. Oil transportation should be done through pipelines. Nuclear waste should not be dumped into the sea or ocean. Petrochemical industries in the coastal region must avoid dumping effluents into the sea or ocean. Dumping of any waste near the ports and harbors must be controlled. Ore deposition and the mineral exploitation along the coast must be controlled. Exploitation and destruction of beaches should be controlled.